Good evening, everyone, and welcome to my channel, Sensate444. And tonight I'm going to talk about Mounjaro and my weight loss. I have been on a weight loss journey that started around the time I started taking Mounjaro for my diabetes. I had lost a little bit prior to that, but I wasn't trying very hard. What I lost was incidental because it was just summer and I was busy and I wasn't eating as much. However, at my highest weight, I was 301 pounds, and I will have a picture of that on screen. And when I started taking the Mounjaro, I believe I was about 286. So I have lost, let's see, I am 201. So what is that, 85 pounds? It kind of fluctuates because I've noticed with the Mounjaro and dieting that my weight kind of goes up and down almost every day. It's just unpredictable. I never used to have that problem when I was younger. I don't know if it's water weight or maybe I ate a little bit more one day. I don't know. So with the Mounjaro, okay, I started at the lowest dose, which was 0.25, I believe it was, milligrams. Was it 2.5 milligrams. And I started taking it because the metformin that I was using for diabetes was no longer bringing my A1C below 7. And so they added in the Mounjaro at the 2.5 milligram level. Almost as soon as I injected it, I felt off. I started to feel nauseous. I started to get really mean stomach cramping, like in the lower abdomen, and diarrhea. And diarrhea was constant for about 2.5 months. It was really difficult to get through that period. The pains that I would get in my lower abdomen weren't there all the time, but they would just come suddenly, and they were intense. I mean, I would just be like trying to take deep breaths and get through it. But the diarrhea was probably the most troublesome thing that I encountered, and that's, like I said, that stayed with me for about 10 weeks, I would say. So within the first possibly 2 months, I lost over 20 pounds. I started taking it in September of 2024, and by December of 2024, I had lost more than 20 pounds. I was in the 250s, and everybody that I knew that knew me were noticing that I had lost the weight. Now, I don't want to make it sound like I started on Mounjaro and I magically lost weight. I decided that I would really give it my best effort when I started to take the Mounjaro, because I had heard that it worked as a weight loss and it made it easier. And I just decided, okay, I'm not just going to rely on that. I'm going to do my thing, and mostly what I do is portion and calories and counting my protein levels. I make sure that I get a good amount of protein. I think I get like at least 40 milligrams of protein, or 40 grams of protein a day. Sometimes I try to hit more than that, and that helps curb my appetite. And the other thing that I do is I have eliminated all sugary treats from my home. If I have a craving and I really want a sugary treat, I will go out and get one in the afternoon, and then that's it. I don't bring anything home, and that has helped me a lot, because my weakest point is late at night and even waking up in the middle of the night, when I will just chow something down and sometimes not even remember if I was in a deep sleep. And so that's when I was at my weakest, when I'm at my weakest and I can't control it. So I think it's better for me just to not have anything sweet in the house. I don't have cookies, cakes, candies, ice cream. The only thing I do keep in the house that is a little sugary are either the Outshine bars or the fruit bars, like at Aldi, and those do have some sugar in it, but I've managed to not lose it with those and eat more than I should. I usually have 2 of those every evening as a treat. That's done well for me, because the biggest probably the hardest part now that I'm on Mounjaro, the hardest part for me is just is at night when I want to watch TV and get snacking, or watch YouTube and snack. So I save those fruit bars till the evening. And the other thing that I've relied on heavily to get the protein without without going over in calories is I eat the 12-gram protein, low fat, no sugar, or low sugar yogurt, Greek yogurt. And that's also like a treat for me. I'll put a little bit of whipped cream on top. And those yogurts at Aldi are 80 calories. The Dannon Light and Fit is 80 calories. Chobani even has one that's 60 calories. I get that one when it's on sale. And a little bit of whipped cream on top, and it makes me feel like I'm having something decadent. I really notice that food, whenever I lose weight, food tastes better. I appreciate it more, and it starts to taste wonderful. So I can have a Greek yogurt with a little whipped cream, and to me that's like absolutely delicious, and it's satisfying, and it helps me meet my protein requirements. When I started the diet, I was probably having about 15 to 1600 calories per day. I was having fruit and sometimes like a boiled egg for breakfast, and lunch was usually just like a granola bar and maybe a piece of fruit. And then I would have a normal sized meal with potatoes or starches, meat, and lean meats. And I even ate hamburger sometimes. And I would have starches, meat, and green veggies, like mostly green, cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts. And I would have as much of those vegetables as I wanted. Not as much of the potato as I wanted, but like the equivalent of one potato. And that worked out really well for me. Like I said, I think in the first maybe 2.5 to 3 months, I know I lost like 25 pounds. Now, naturally, it started to slow at that point. I just started to lose weight much more slowly after that. And where I am right now is at 201 pounds, which is 100 pounds below my highest weight, and 85 pounds since I started the Mounjaro have been lost. And normally in the past, I have lost large sums of weight, but I could never keep it off more than a couple years. The cravings would start, and it was like clockwork. Once I lost more than 30 to 35 pounds, cravings would swoop in, and they would be so intense. And I also like had what they call now food noise, which to me is just obsessing about food. You know, I would find myself out in the afternoon having a coffee, and I do put one cream in my coffee. I don't put sugar in. I don't even use artificial sweetener on that because I'm kind of used to that. I've been drinking coffee without sugar since I was young, and I just love the taste of coffee anyways. I still can't really go completely black, though, on the coffee. And I drink as much of that as I want, as long as it doesn't make me wired and nervous, although I do drink it early in the day so that it doesn't interfere with my sleep. In fact, just to try to be healthier and lower my amount of diet drinks, I usually eat or drink unsweetened coffee all day until about after dinner. And then I allow myself to have some of that, like Aldi fruit punch that is sugar-free, and it's very delicious. And or a diet drink, as long as it doesn't have caffeine, like a diet pop or something like that. But I don't drink a lot of pop. I drink a lot more of the like fruity. It's kind of the equivalent of a Kool-Aid mix, but it's either the Aldi brand or the Giant Eagle brand. And to me, it tastes delicious, and then I'm not lugging home all these bottles of water either. You know, I can use my own water on the tap. What other tricks do I do? Okay, if I'm very hungry and I really have no more, or I really shouldn't have any more calories, I will have fruit, especially a melon, like a half a cantaloupe, which really, and that and the watermelon satiate me, make me actually feel full because I won't feel full on the other stuff that I'm having. It's just not enough. Or if my protein is on the low end that day, I will have some lean, like turkey breast, lunch meat, or something I can just grab that has protein and put it in, and that helps me like to curb my appetite, helps curb my appetite. So after the 25 pounds came off, my weight loss did slow down to about, I would say, like maybe 7 to 8 pounds a month, which is still pretty fast. And so over the next couple months, I'm trying to think because I don't have my book in front of me. I would say by spring, I was about 225, 225 in there somewhere in April and May. And since then, it's been very slow. To give you an example, I just visited my doctor last week, and it was the first time I saw him in 8 weeks. And they took my weight, and they told me I lost 6 pounds, and it's been like 8 weeks. So I am losing very slowly now. But I'm definitely not going to let myself starve because that just, I think, increases my cravings and makes me want to binge on something really heavy laden in fat and calories. I did eat candy on Halloween and the day after and a couple days after until I ran out. I tried to give most of it away. Once in a while, like I said, if I have a craving for something, I will have like a single donut or a small piece of cake or something like that. If it's really bad and I'm not controlling it very well and I'm having cravings, I don't try to like just cold turkey and not do it at all. But I just make sure that after I've had that one serving, even though like I'm wanting more, I get up and walk away and do something. Or like I said, I'll go to Dunkin' or I'll go somewhere and I'll buy one thing, and then I don't allow myself to buy anymore, and I don't have it in the house. Something that has helped my appetite quite a bit. This lipstick's shocking. I know. It's really pink. Something that has helped my appetite quite a bit is I always have boiled eggs on hand. I put a little bit of salt. In the beginning, I would put a little butter on them. Now I don't. Now I just put a little bit of salt and have something to drink with that. And that helps quite a bit. I usually get up now. My diet now has pared down from the beginning, and now I would say I'm more like between 1350 and 1400 calories. And prior to that, I had been like probably 1450 to 15. But as I said, I'm just not losing as fast. Let's see, what else? I have lost 12 inches off my waist, which is pretty good for a 85 to 100 pound weight loss, because I heard that if your waist is going down, that's the most important part on most people, because that's where a lot of people store a lot of their fat. So definitely checking it with the waist, making sure that that's going down too, and not just settling for just losing the weight. I know I've lost some muscle, unfortunately. I can feel it in my legs. I just can feel it. Getting up from seated positions and things like that, I definitely feel a little weaker in my legs. The kind of downside with the face is I've got these now, I call these my sand dunes. They're like striation wrinkles on my neck, which I did not have before I lost weight. I just had a really heavy neck and face. And so that's why I've gotten like these. I had a little bit of a line here, but not as deep. And now I've got that line, I've got this. And now I have noticed that has all gotten worse since I've lost weight. But when I don't believe it's Ozempic face, because I have been maintaining my protein. I just think that, if you carry a lot of weight, wherever you carry a lot of weight, and then when you lose a large sum of weight, it gets hangy. And I'm 60 years old now. I don't know if it'll go back, and I don't know, but you have to look at the bright side. I mean, my health has gotten much better. My A1C is in the normal range now. It's not even in the pre-diabetic range, which is awesome. I am currently on the 12.5 milligrams of Mounjaro. It went up to 5 and then 7.5, and I was at 7.5 for a long time. Then I went up to 10, and now I'm at 12.5. And from what I understand, the 15 milligram dose is the highest. So I don't plan on going up to the 15 unless my diabetes requires it, because I got to leave something there. And I noticed each time that the Mounjaro was increased, it started to work better. So I do know that I have some tolerance built up, which is unfortunate, but I think that would happen with most medications. Let's see, what else can I say? Calories and portion control are what works for me. I mean, some people like a low carb diet. I've tried those and I have lost massive weight on those, but I could never maintain it. When, excuse me, when I do the low carb diet, I find myself craving fruits and vegetables, and I'm thinking, is this really a good diet if I can't eat my fruit? Because through the portion control diet, fruit is what really sustains me. It's delicious, it's filling, it hydrates, and I really don't limit my fruit intake other than the really heavy fruits like bananas. But like as far as melons go, I mean, if I eat a whole cantaloupe every day, that's fine. If that keeps me from eating sugar and other kinds of sugar, like artificial sweeteners or sugar cane, or anything high fructose corn syrup. I feel my body also, my sugar levels don't seem to go up as high after eating fruit as they do if I eat like a candy bar or hard candy or even gum, like high in sugar gum. So for me, the fruit seems to be working out. I know I'm getting a lot of fiber also. I'm not probably getting as much fiber as I would like to get because I am not eating like a lot of starches anymore. Now my dinners are usually just meat and green vegetables. And that could be a salad, or that could be, like I said, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, green beans, wax beans are okay. Stuff like that, okay? Once in a while, as a treat, I'll have a little bit of coleslaw with dinner, but I don't eat a lot of that because of, the calories in the mayo and that, but I do get a little bit. Like I said, I don't really completely cut out anything because I don't think that'll work for me. That might work for some people, but that's why the low carb doesn't work for me. That's why, just going no sugar altogether. I don't think I could do that. But if your diabetes is bad enough, you probably should try to do that. But luckily, mine's being controlled under the Mounjaro. But like I said, compared to my normal eating habits before I lost weight, I have eliminated a ton of sugar, a lot of starch. I'm still getting a good amount of protein. And what else could I say? It's a little frustrating. I went through a period when I was about 223, I'm thinking, where my weight just stayed the same for like 6 or 7 weeks. I've had plateaus in the past, but I've never lost like approaching 100 pounds before, so I don't know if this is normal. I know plateaus are normal, but that was ridiculous. That 6 weeks in there, that was just crazy. But I wouldn't give up because basically I really can't go back to eating the way I did. I was getting health problems, not just diabetes, but a couple other things. And I'm like, well, I can't go back to eating like that anyways. So why quit? Why give up? So I think that's what's kind of propelled me to continue to go back on the diet. I've had a couple malfunctions with the pens. Like when I was at 10 milligram, I had my last 10 milligram dose before a refill, and the pen, I put it on you put it on your belly area or your upper thigh if you're injecting yourself. and I put it on my belly, which is where I always do it, and I put it on my belly and pressed it and waited, because you got to wait till you see or hear a click and you see the plunger come back. And I waited and waited and waited, and that plunger never came back. And then eventually I took it off of me and put it down, and then the medicine squirted out. So that was frustrating. Wasted a pen on that. I do have a friend who has also tried this, and she's on a much lower dose right now, but it has not worked for her at all. I'm thinking maybe it will when they go up, but she said she didn't have the nausea and the diarrhea or anything. So, I don't know if what I had was typical, but like I said, the most difficult symptom has been the diarrhea. Now the diarrhea is completely stopped, and in fact now I struggle with constipation, and I use Miralax, or a generic Miralax, the polyethylene glycol, I think it is. I use that, not every day, but it's just very, very hard. I'm very constipated. Some of it might just be maybe I'm just not drinking enough water. You got to be careful to drink a lot of liquids when losing weight too, because it helps you flush all the bad stuff out. Okay, if you have any questions, just put them in the comments. I will try to answer everything. I will put some before and after pictures here at the end. And if you, one thing is, I worry a lot about side effects of medicine, and I probably would have been too chicken to go on Mounjaro if I was not diabetic, but I kind of had to go on something stronger, and that's what my doctor picked for me, and it's been great. And I have to say that other than the troublesome side effects in the beginning, it has been a godsend, really, because it's gotten my A1C low and helped me lose this weight, which was affecting other parts of my body in negative ways. So good luck to you if you do it. I guess, like, as I lose more weight, I either need to increase activity or cut down a little bit, and that's what I usually do when I'm on a plateau. But as long as I'm losing something, I'm going to hang in there. I'm not going to quit. I would like to get below 194. That's the marker for me for between obesity and overweight. And I'm 5'8" tall, so if I can get below 194, that's going to be a victory for me. That was my goal initially when I was 301 pounds, was to at least get to where I was not obese anymore, and that's what I'm working on. And then if after that, if I feel okay and I continue to lose, so be it. But I'm not going to stress. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to overdo it. I'm not, I don't want to jeopardize my health. As you get older in life, your health does become more important, and it should. I mean, you should focus on your health, especially the more you know, and the older you get, you need to. So I don't drink alcohol. That is a lot of calories. Alcohol has a lot of calories. I've had friends that tried to diet and lose weight, but they were going out a few times a week to have some alcohol, and it made it very hard for them to lose. And I'm thinking if I had been doing that, I'm not sure that I would have lost all this weight either, because there's a lot of calories. Alcohol to your body is sort of like a sugar, and plus being diabetic, it's something for me to lay off of. So like I said, I think when I feel really hungry, the cantaloupe helps, or a little bit of lean turkey breast lunch meat, or an egg. Those kind of things are what helps me feel satiated, that protein. And my treats, again, are the Outshine or the fruit bars and the yogurt cups with a little whipped cream. And other than that, it's mostly fruit and veggies. All right, if you have any questions, leave them below. And if you like this content, please give a thumbs up. And if you like hauls and thrift shops, maybe you'd want to subscribe, and you'll be notified when I upload more content. I have many Temu and Shein hauls on my page, so check that out and watch for the pictures coming up. Bye.